My parents want me to move away, but they demand I keep supporting them. I, 26 males, have been financially supporting my parents since I was 18. Not by choice, but because they made it clear it was my duty after my dad got laid off and decided early retirement was his right. Yesterday, they dropped a bomb on me during our weekly family dinner, aka the meal I pay for, while they complain about everything. Mom and Dad want me to move across the country for a job opportunity that would double my salary. Great. Right. Except, there's a catch. They expect me to keep paying their mortgage, utilities, and lifestyle expenses while I'm gone. It's perfect. Mom said, scrolling through her phone. You'll make more money for us, and we won't have to deal with you bringing girls around or asking to use your own car. When I pointed out I might need my increased salary for, living in an expensive new city, Dad slammed his fist on the table. After everything we've sacrificed for you, this is how you repay us. By being selfish. For context, my parents haven't worked in 8 years. They live in the house I bought, that's in their names because tax purposes, drive the car I pay for, and haven't once said thank you for any of it. The kicker, when I mentioned I might not take the job, my mom looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You don't have a choice. We already accepted on your behalf. You leave next month. Don't worry about us. Just make sure the money keeps coming." I just smiled and nodded. They have no idea what I'm planning. We'll update once things are in motion. Edit. To everyone asking why do you support them, it's complicated. Years of guilt, manipulation, and the fact that they convinced me at 18 to put almost everything in their names to build their credit. I know how stupid that sounds now. Update 1. Thanks for the support and advice, everyone. I wasn't expecting this much response. So I've spent the past week quietly setting everything in motion. My parents think I'm being a good son by preparing for the move, but they have no idea what I'm actually doing. First, let me clarify a few things based on your comments. Yes. I know I've been a doormat. Growing up, no wasn't a word I was allowed to use with my parents. Every time I tried to set boundaries, they bring up how they sacrificed everything for me. Their favorite guilt trip is how they could have traveled the world if they hadn't had me. Yet somehow, I'm still responsible for funding the travel they claim I prevented. The house situation. 3 years ago, they convinced me to buy them a house because their rental was killing them with stress. I was 23, making decent money, and they promised it was an investment. The mortgage is in their names, but I pay it because their credit was shot. The car is also in their name, but guess who makes the payments? Since my last post, things have gotten worse. Mom accidentally opened my mail from the new company and saw my starting salary. Now they've calculated exactly how much I'll be making and have revised their budget of what I owe them. Extra $1,500 per month. Because you won't be using any utilities here anymore. Dad even had the audacity to send me links to condos in my new city that are reasonably priced. So I can save money for what's important, them. These reasonable places are basically closets with toilets. Yesterday, I found Mom going through my personal banking app on my phone while I was in the shower. When confronted, she said, "I'm just making sure you're not hiding money from the family." The family. Here's what I've done so far. Accepted the job offer officially. It's actually an amazing opportunity. Opened a new bank account at a different bank. Started redirecting my direct deposits to the new account. Met with a lawyer. More on this later. Found an apartment in my new city that I can actually afford while saving money. The most satisfying part, my parents have started telling everyone how supportive they are of my career move, taking full credit. My mom's Facebook is full of "so proud of my son" posts, conveniently leaving out the part where they're treating me like an ATM. My uncle called me yesterday to congratulate me. And when I hinted at the financial situation, he got really quiet and said, "Your parents told everyone they're letting you use their car for the move as a gift." Their car, that I pay for. The plan is in motion. The new job starts in 3 weeks. My parents think everything is going according to their plan, but tomorrow is when phase 2 begins. We'll update again soon. Update 2. It's been a wild few days, and I'm typing this from my new apartment in my new city. Yep. I moved early. That was part of the plan. After my last update, I kicked things into high gear. Here's what went down. First, the legal stuff. The lawyer confirmed what many of you suggested. Since the house and car in their names and I've been making gifts with no formal agreement, legally, I can just stop. It feels wrong after years of conditioning, but it's completely legal. The day after my last post, my parents invited over my aunts and uncles for a going-away dinner that I paid for and cooked, naturally. Throughout the entire dinner, they bragged about how they always pushed me to reach for the stars and how they're making such sacrifices letting their only son move away. My aunt asked how they'd manage without me. And my mom said, with a straight face, "We prepared him for the world. Now the world gets to enjoy the fruits of our labor and send some fruit back our way." Everyone laughed. My dad then announced they'd be remodeling their kitchen with the extra money coming in from my new salary. My mom showed everyone a $15,000 renovation plan on her iPad, money I didn't know I was apparently providing. That night after everyone left, they sat me down for the talk. Dad had created an actual spreadsheet of my new family obligations. $2,400 per month for their mortgage, $850 per month for their car payments, $600 per month for utilities and subscriptions, $1,200 per month for parental stipend, $200 per month for their phone bills, $1,100 per month toward the kitchen renovation. That's $6,300 a month. My new take-home pay would be around $7,200. They expected me to live on $850 a month in one of the most expensive cities in the country. When I quietly asked how I was supposed to live on what remained, my mom said, and I quote, "That's not our problem. Being an adult means making sacrifices. We sacrificed for you, now you sacrifice for us." My dad added, "Maybe get a second job on weekends. That's what a good son would do." I nodded and thanked them for their guidance. They looked so smug. It took everything in me not to reveal my plan right then. The next day, while they were at their weekly spa day that I pay for, I executed phase 2. I packed everything important into my car. Yes. Their car that I pay for. I called the moving company I'd secretly booked and had them take my remaining belongings to storage. I left an envelope on the kitchen table. I drove to my new city, 2 weeks ahead of schedule. What was in the envelope? A letter explaining that I would no longer be supporting them financially, along with package deal I'd already paid through the end of the month, a printout of job listings in their area. A copy of my therapy bills from the past year dealing with their financial abuse, a spreadsheet showing I've given them over $217,000 in the past 8 years, a brochure about reverse order mortgages. I also included 1 month's worth of mortgage and utilities payments as a final gift. Just enough time for them to figure things out. Then I blocked their numbers and drove away. It's been 3 days since I left. According to my cousin, they found the envelope and lost their minds. They've been calling everyone in the family asking for my new address and for emergency loans. Apparently, they told my uncle they needed to rescue me from my mental breakdown. My aunt, mom's sister, finally told them, "Maybe it's time you got jobs instead of spending your kids' money." Mom hung up on her. The best part, they can't even come after me because they have no money for a plane ticket. And the car I was driving, I left it at my cousin's house with a signed title transfer. It's now legally his, and he's always needed a reliable car for his work. My new place is small, but all mine. My new job is incredible. For the first time in my adult life, my money is mine. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of guilt and second guessing. 8 years of conditioning doesn't disappear overnight, but each day gets a little easier. Final update. It's been 2 months since I moved and stopped financially supporting my parents, and I wanted to give you all a final update on how things have played out. First, thank you for all the supportive messages. They've helped more than you know, especially during the guilt spirals. The aftermath has been both exactly what I expected and completely surprising. Here's what's happened. After I left, my parents went through what my cousin described as the 5 stages of entitlement. Denial, anger, more anger, extreme anger, and finally, desperate scrambling. Week 1. They told everyone I was having a mental breakdown and needed family intervention. They called my new workplace trying to get my address. Thankfully, HR shut that down immediately. They even filed a missing person report, which was quickly dismissed when the police learned I had willingly moved and was in regular contact with other family members. Week 2. When they realized I was serious about cutting them off, the rage began. They left hundreds of voicemails on my cousin's phone to pass along to me, ranging from guilt trips, "We're going to be homeless because of you," to outright threats, "You'll regret abandoning your family." My mom's social media switched from proud parent to vague posts about the pain of ungrateful children. Week 3. Reality started setting in when the mortgage company sent their first late notice. According to my aunt, that's when my dad finally had to face the truth. I wasn't coming back, and the money train had stopped. He actually went to a job interview but stormed out when they offered him insulting entry-level pay. Week 4. They started selling things, designer purses, electronics, golf clubs, everything luxury items. They pressured me to buy them over the years. My mom had to cancel her country club membership and spa subscription. My dad had to give up his weekly poker game. Throughout all of this, they tried every manipulation tactic in their playbook to reach me. They had relatives call me with fake medical emergencies. They showed up at my cousin's house at midnight demanding the car back. My mom called my old landlord sobbing about her mentally ill son. They emailed my new boss claiming I was stealing from them. None of it worked. The family members I'm still in contact with have seen through their act and have actually been surprisingly supportive of me. My uncle even called to apologize for not realizing what was happening sooner. Last week, I received a certified letter from them. The first direct communication that actually reached me. I was expecting more guilt and manipulation, but what I got was so much worse and better in a way. The letter was a formal invoice for my outstanding debts to them, including $216,000 for room and board from birth to age 18, $242,000 for college support. I paid my own tuition, $377,000 for career guidance and networking, emotional support during difficult times, $15,000. Total, $340,000 plus interest. The letter ended with, "We expect payment plans to begin immediately. We've been more than patient." I laughed until I cried, then cried until I laughed again. My therapist called it an extinction burst, the last desperate attempt to regain control. I didn't respond, but I did forward it to my lawyer, who sent them a very formal letter advising them to cease contact unless they want to discuss their own legal obligation to repay the $217,000 I've given them since turning 18. Which was documented in my records. The silence since then has been deafening. As for my parents' situation now, they've had to dramatically downsize the houses on the market as a short sale. My dad finally took a job at a hardware store, and my mom is working part-time as a receptionist. According to family, they're telling everyone they're just simplifying their lives to focus on what's important. Meanwhile, I'm thriving. My new job is challenging but rewarding. I've made actual friends who don't want anything from me, except my company. I've started dating someone who insists on splitting the bill, which still feels weird but good. And most importantly, I'm saving money for my future. The biggest change, I check my bank account now and don't feel instant dread. There's actually money staying in there, growing a little each month. I bought myself a new pair of shoes last week. Nothing fancy, just shoes. Without calculating how many of my parents' bills I could pay with that money instead. That small freedom felt bigger than the move across the country. So that's it. Sometimes the best revenge isn't anything elaborate. It's just living well and letting natural consequences take their course. My parents spent 8 years teaching me that I existed to serve their needs. It took less than 8 weeks for reality to teach them otherwise.